bring to you greetings from the Society of Indian Law Firms, of which I happen to be the president, as also the Bar Association of India as its immediate past president. So I'm here as a speaker, and I'm a non-smoker, and I'm a teetotaler. But that doesn't mean, you see, that I can't speak on tobacco, its use and abuse, not only in India, but at the international level. I had the occasion to examine the constitutionality and legal validity of the law passed by the Parliament banning the e-cigarettes and other connected items. There is a total prohibition. You can't manufacture, much less sell and all that. On the last occasion, I think when I participated, I had highlighted the constitutional provisions, and I would like to recapitulate for the benefit of those who were not present in the last hearing, particularly our students also who are here. So, the Constitution of India has a chapter which is called the Directive Principles. I think most of us are aware what are the directive principles of the state policy. That means it is enjoined upon the state, that is the government, to introduce certain measures which would help the country and the citizens in various aspects, you see, including healthcare. And I invite your attention to Article 47. Duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living and to improve public health. This is the title. The state shall regard the raising of level of nutrition and the standard of living of its people and the improvement of public health as among its primary duties, and in particular, and this is important, and in particular the state shall endeavor to bring about prohibition of consumption except for medicinal purposes of intoxicating drinks and of drugs which are injurious to health. So this is the directive principle regarding public health, and there is a significant omission with regard to use of tobacco. On the other hand, there is a specific directive to the state that it would ensure that there should be prohibition of intoxicating drinks. So this distinction between the intoxicating drinks, that is the liquor part, and tobacco is very significant. Tobacco is not mentioned anywhere. Now I invite you to the Schedule 7 of the Constitution, which sets out which are the areas in which the Union of India can bring the laws. That is list 1. Second list is where the states of the country can bring the laws. Third is the concurrent list, in which both the union and state, subject to the provisions of the Constitution, can bring about certain laws. Now, in the union list, item 84, duties of excise on tobacco and other goods manufactured or produced in India, except alcoholic liquors for human consumption, opium, Indian hemp, and other narcotic drugs and narcotics. So this sanctions the manufacture and dealing in tobacco because it authorizes the government of India, the union, to levy duties of excise on tobacco. So there is a sanction that tobacco is a legitimate activity. We are not talking about the health concern for the time being that the experts will talk about. We are on the constitutionality of this, you see. Therefore, tobacco on other goods manufactured or produced in India. Therefore, manufacturing of tobacco products is a legitimate legal activity as sanctioned by our constitution. And therefore, there can be no question about a total prohibition. That is one ground on which you see I had written about also that the law which is framed, which is made out by the parliament, banning, you see, the e-cigarettes and all that, that was unconstitutional, and I reiterate the same. Now, if you turn to the state list, that is the list 2, item 8, intoxicating liquors, that is to say the production, manufacture, possession, transport, purchase, and all that. On this, the state can make the laws. So there is no mention about tobacco. Again, what we call legally casus omissus, that it is intentional omission from the list, a very conscious omission. And in the concurrent list, the duties, again the state list, duties of excise on the following goods manufactured or produced in the state and countervailing duties at the same time manufactured, and that says alcoholic liquors and all that, does not mention tobacco anywhere in the state list. The concurrent list says, item 33, trade and commerce in and production, supply and distribution of the products of any industry where the control of such industry by the union is declared by parliament by law to be expedient in the public interest, and imported goods of the same kind as such products. Now, this was invoked by the parliament while framing that law regarding e-cigarettes and all that. This was invoked, but this invocation of this particular clause is itself illegal because the manufacture and dealing with tobacco is already sanctioned specifically in the earlier provisions of this of our constitution. Therefore, that step is also illegal. Accordingly, there can be no question of a total prohibition legally. And we have seen in the case of liquor, wherever there has been total prohibition, particularly in the state of Tamil Nadu or in the state of Bihar and so many other states, was there in practice a total prohibition? No, it led to illicit manufacture, it led to illegal imports of liquor and all sorts of illegal activities, and the prohibition was a total failure, even with regard to liquor. Now, is tobacco the only cause of cancer? I ask myself. As I said, I don't smoke, but my father, he was a regular smoker. I don't say chain smoker, but regular smoker. My brother is a smoker. But they did not, my father did not die of cancer. He died of heart attack. My wife, late wife, she died in 1991 because of lung cancer. But she was not a smoker. And she was not even a captive smoker because I don't smoke. So it is not that it is only tobacco which can cause cancer, or people who smoke, they will die of cancer. Everything has to be like regulated in a reasonable manner. Consumption of liquor can lead to cirrhosis. So many people die, you see, of excessive use of liquor. Therefore, there has to be like a self-regulation. So far, use of such, say liquor or even narcotics. Narcotics are not totally banned, but their use is regulated because they are used for medicinal purposes also. Therefore, there has to be a proper regulation. And what is the result that we are having, you see, today with regard to use of tobacco? I'll just share, you see, some details with you that India is the second largest producer of tobacco in the world, providing livelihood to 45.7 million people in the country. Now, when we talk of health hazards, we have to be conscious of the fact about what we call development, employment, growth of industry. For instance, recently the Supreme Court, in a very major judgment, said that yes, environment is very important. Sustainable development is very significant. It has to be there. But sustainable development cannot be at the expense of growth of business and industry. Therefore, they upset the decision of the National Green Tribunal, which had prohibited and banned, you see, certain felling of trees because the industry could not be set up in that region. Therefore, when we talk of prohibition and such drastic steps, we have to be conscious of its other consequences on the economy of the country, on the employment of the country. This will lead to starvation if there is a total prohibition of millions of workers who are employed in the plantations and in the manufacture of the cigarettes. And we have in India extreme regulations already in place. I watch the television quite regularly, and whenever some ad comes about tobacco, cigarettes, those, I just shut my eyes because I can't see that. And those are the same things which are reproduced on the cigarette packages. About 85% of the package depicts in a very, very horrible manner what could be the consequences of cancer. But do people really watch that? No. People shut their eyes, they don't look at it. And that has led to use of cigarettes which are illegally imported into India and which do not have, you see, those pictures on the front. Therefore, a part of pictorial warning in India, a preference of smuggled cigarettes without the prescribed warning. Illicit cigarettes remain a huge challenge with current volume equivalent to 1/3 of the illegal volume, and this has a grave impact on the economy of the country also. With legal cigarettes already unaffordable to a sizable portion of the population, tax increases on cigarettes have the potential to facilitate further shift from legal to illicit cigarettes. Illicit cigarettes are a big, big market here. And then India has huge potential for tobacco exports. So these are relevant considerations for the economic progress of the country. You have to balance the two things. No one says that tobacco use should be unregulated. It should be regulated, but there cannot be any question about a prohibition because that is sanctioned by our constitution. So these are my views, and I leave it to the experts to touch upon, you see, the health part, those dealing with the medical problems. As I said, cancer is not caused only because of use of cigarettes. Cancer can have other, you see, um, implications also. Thank you. Thank you.